Thanks for coming to King Ugly Crew again. Tonight we are actually doing a user request. It was Nick Spears sent us
A user request or a listener request?
Yes.
Users. Because King Ugly Crew podcast is a user now. Okay. All right,
Yeah,
Nick.
they're users. Anyway, yes, a listener request, I guess. So he requested that we talk about our most dangerous stuff that we've ever done. And I think we'll start with my wife real quick. And let me introduce her. This is Venetia, my wife, Venetia Jensen. And she's going to tell you what her most dangerous thing she's ever done.
I'm Venetia. I've had kids.
She sounds so depressed.
I know. I hear that sadness in her voice.
Can you get like the cheerleader voice out, Nish? I mean, you sound so much better when you sound like a cheerleader.
Hi, I'm Venetia. Let's go.
Okay, there we go. You talk like that the whole time. We'll get more listeners. They'll think you're hot.
Wow.
Oh,
she needs to do her cooking with Venetia voice. You should totally. She does it all the time. She does this. She'll send Marco Polos to Carmen, her best friend's sister / whatever, and she'll be like, "Thanks for coming." Oh, there's my phone again. She'll be like, "Thanks for coming. I'm gonna show you today how to press on vinyl." It's hilarious.
It's hi. Thanks for joining us with Vinyl with Venetia. Today we're gonna learn about how to put vinyl on shirts. So exciting!
That's awesome. That is so good.
Right? It's like she
So
could do
great.
it. It was funny because Carmen was like, "Venetia, you could totally do your own YouTube channel with that. It would be hilarious."
Vinyl and Phoenicia. It works really well.
I did how to cut a pineapple.
Yes.
No. So I'm Venetia. We've got 7 kids, like Lonan said. And I think the most dangerous thing I've ever done is honestly having this last kid.
Yeah, I'd agree with that one. She was in the hospital for quite a while.
Doctor came in and said, "You okay?" I said, "Yep." He goes, "Oh, good. I thought we were going to lose you."
Whoa. That is not something you say to a person that just had a baby.
That's what I told him and started laughing. He's like, "Well, we did almost lose you."
Wow. Well, Nisha, I'm very happy you're still here.
Yeah, me too. I don't think I could have managed 7 kids by myself.
No.
And she has
love you,
way
Lana.
more life insurance on me than I do on her.
Yeah, I'll be rolling in the dough if Lonan dies.
So what you're telling me is that
is
we
that
need
the
to kill him off.
purpose? Is that the purpose of his motorcycle?
Yeah, just kidding. We had a friend die from that, and I don't want to even go there.
Oh, trust me. I had the conversation with Will. I was like, Lonan's working on his death trap.
I'm not going to die on it.
Well,
I'm
we'll
sure that's
discuss
what
some of
every
that.
middle-aged guy says about their motorcycle when they die on it.
I would much rather have my husband any day and live out of a cardboard box than have any money.
See, she loves me. All right, so, all right, I guess we'll go to the next person. Case can't think of anything he's ever done that's dangerous.
I'm sorry, it's just life. Like, they keep talking about motorcycle riding, ATV stuff, my job. I just these are all things that I just do. Like, it's not dangerous in my opinion, but just because I have a different outlook on it, I guess.
You blow things up for a living. I think that's a little scary.
I mean, I know how to handle it, so that's not scary to me, but I guess for a normal person, yeah, I mean, I use the exact same stuff that blew up Lebanon, so, yeah.
I mean, the difference is, here's the difference, right? So you have, all of us, not just you, we've had a dad that have raised us doing all these, in some people's mind, crazy things. I mean, you listen to Zani, and she's just like, wow, I don't think I would let my kids ever ride the four. Well, I never would before, but since you guys are there, I guess I'll let them go. But,
it's just different people that raised it.
Right. She wasn't raised around it, or she just didn't want to let them do it. I don't know which one it was. Could be both. Who knows? Right.
No, I totally get it. Like, it's just that we talk about dangerous things, and I'm sitting here like, yeah, I've jumped my 4-wheeler a long distance. I've crashed my motorcycle, which we've already talked about. And, yeah, I mean, obviously my job dealing with that kind of stuff is dangerous in some people's opinions, but at the same time, I just do it. So, I don't know. I'll think about it while you guys talk about what your opinions are.
Well, so let's start off with Griff. Griff was like, "Are you kidding me? You don't know what you want, or what was dangerous for you?" So let's see what Griff has to say. I have a couple good ones, I think. Obviously, motorcycles and other things, ATVs as well. But I've got a couple extra ones that I don't know if Case and I have done. But go ahead, Griff.
Mine is the Hayabusa. So I think every time getting on that motorcycle, I probably had a scary moment. But my one, I would say my particular one, because Case, you could probably re-bring this up because we don't necessarily have all the same ones, is when I did 200 miles an hour on the Hayabusa at night on an empty road that was flat, luckily, but I was way outrunning my light by about 150 miles an hour, and I knew that one was dumb, but I just wanted to do it.
Wait, your light was only good for 50 miles an hour?
Oh no,
150.
150. I couldn't. I was way
So
outrunning my light. Far enough.
anything, okay, so anything over 150 miles an hour, you're outrunning your light.
Yeah, and it was really if that was uncomfortable at 150, like 130, it was where I would say it was comfortable to ride
Gotcha. All right.
because I had just enough light to read. It slowed down. If anything, would have come down at 150, and I went 50 miles an hour faster than that. If you need another one, London, I have another couple stories that I say are scary.
I've got a good one.
Unlike Case that doesn't think he has anything.
I'll figure out something.
Motorcycle stories, figure it out.
You got it.
Stat.
So my story is when I was 17 years old, I was working on our Jeep Wrangler we had. It was an old YJ, 95 YJ. And being the brilliant guy that I was pulling the rear drive shaft out of it on a driveway. Well, it was actually sitting in gear, and that's what was holding it in the driveway. And I pulled the drive shaft out of it because the U-joints were bad, and it ended up rolling over top of me. And luckily, it didn't crush my chest, but the skid plate was sitting on top of my chest, and it actually bruised my sternum or whatever. It was really hard to breathe for about a month. That was a really scary experience.
Where was that at?
That was at Weatherstone.
That sounds fun.
Dude,
yeah, that was just a stupid moment.
Yeah, I call that pretty dangerous.
Well, I remember the day, when it happened, it didn't hurt, but the next day, I couldn't bend over, I couldn't lift anything, it was hard to breathe, and I thought about it, and I was like, man, if that Jeep would have been 1 inch shorter, it probably would have killed me.
Yeah, that's one of those things where God was definitely watching out. No doubt about it.
Well, I've got another one where I was being stupid with a swamp cooler, but...
Yeah, we'll come back.
Okay.
So, Case, do you have one yet?
No, keep going.
Okay, so one of the ones that I have is, well, this one, we'll do a shout out to Nick, since this is one that, he was the one that wanted us to do this. We were towing my Volkswagen Bug out to Shoshone after we moved from Twin to Shoshone. And the nut that held on the steering wheel, I never had a steering wheel nut, and we had cut it, so it was kind of like a Batmobile steering wheel, right? So it's just two little things coming out, and that's all you have. And I think he was towing me with the Chevy pickup, and we're driving down the road, and all of a sudden, like something's in the road or something. I can't remember what it was, but I kind of flick my wrists back and forth, and all of a sudden the steering wheel comes off. And we're doing 70 miles an hour. And, it wouldn't be that bad if we were on the uphill side of things, but we were on the downhill side. So it took me about a solid 30 seconds to get the steering wheel back on the car.
Nice.
Yeah.
That must have been terrifying. Oh my goodness. Did it at least drive straight, the Bug?
Yeah, it drove straight, but because I had to keep slamming on the brakes, one of them we grabbed, they always grabbed, no matter what I did, I did the brakes on 3 times, and the right side always grabbed harder than the left side. And so I had to tap the brakes instead of holding them for a second, because otherwise it would just pull me off the road until I got the steering wheel back on. To keep that way I could keep the the strap tight.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I thought you'd like that one.
Holy crap.
So this is when I was 16 or 17. I mean, I was young. So maybe he was pulling me with the Suburban. I don't know. It was one of the vehicles. And yeah, that's what happened. It was super fun. Super fun.
That's crazy.
All right.
I guess I do have one that might seem a little bit dangerous.
Shoot.
Besides most of your life.
Well, it'd be a swamp cooler. I think it's the same. Me and Baron had the same experience. I wonder if it's the same. Is it the balcony thing, Baron?
No, it wasn't balcony. You guys installed swamp coolers. That's what I mentioned. Mine was when we still lived in Royal Legacy.
Yeah, mine. Okay, so our families are a firm believer in swamp coolers because they're more efficient than air conditioning units, obviously.
Not true. Air conditioners are more efficient. But in Las Vegas, where it is exceptionally hot and is very hard to cool down houses. Swamp
And very
coolers
dry.
and
Extremely
very dry, and swamp coolers do a very good job of getting them cooled down.
Nah, swamp cooler is definitely more efficient up to a certain amount of humidity, and based off of how much money you are spending, they are far more efficient. That's most of the time what you're referring to as efficiency is what you're going, you put $1 in, how much cooling do you get out? And you get far more cooling, especially in Vegas, out of that dollar into that swamp cooler than you would $1 into an AC.
Correct.
Absolutely. And so King Ugly was really, really into him. And so we were actually moving out of our house, the final one from Vegas that we all lived in. And so we had this balcony my parents' balcony for their master bedroom. We had a
didn't live there.
Right. Sorry. For the younger kids is what I meant. So we had to unload it, and I had a good friend at the time, and then I think Kyler was there too. And we literally
Was I there?
Griffey, I think you were there. We have a video of it. It goes through Facebook every year. It comes up as a memory, and I just look back and I'm like, that was really stupid. So basically, this machine is probably 400 pounds.
No.
How much?
A solid 150 most.
200.
If you had water in it, maybe 200.
Yeah, and if it had pads on it, which it did not, we did it with the pads off.
Oh,
But
then
still.
it's a solid 75 pounds. That's all they are. They're not that heavy.
But it was okay. Sorry,
Good.
way over exaggerated the weight, but it was still really awkward to handle.
Yep.
And us all being teenagers, basically, that were there, minus Griff, we obviously didn't know how to handle this machine and get it down the thing. So we basically used a ladder and some rope, put someone on one end of the rope, and the other two people were on the ladder trying to hold it.
I think this was going up, not going down. Down, I think we just used a rope and put it down.
Yeah, I thought the same thing.
Yeah.
I don't
Like,
know.
I heard about both ways.
Up, yes. And it was very sketchy because we put the ladder up on it and we were pushing it up.
You're right. Totally right. It was
pushing
up.
it up. And we had someone walking up the ladder while we were pushing it up and trying to drag it all at the same time. Like,
It was,
there was
and
so
if you wanted
many
to
things that
see-
could have gone wrong.
see an OSHA violation, we were the OSHA violation. Absolutely.
100%.
Like everything you don't do in a professional way, yeah, we did it because we weren't professionals, obviously. But yeah, that was definitely dangerous. Just learn how to move things properly. That's all I can say.
All right, so Nisha's got another one real quick.
So I actually have two. One, when we were younger, we lived by a canal next to our backyard. And it's one of those really deep ones that Vegas would use as...
Idaho?
It was in Utah.
It was in Utah.
Oh, okay.
But it was a really deep one. And my parents told us not to go swimming in it. And so when they would be at work, we would go swimming in it. And it was so full that it literally hit the bottom of the bridge where you drove over. And we'd swim in it all the time. And now as an adult, I understand that there's undertows. And they would tell us that we would drown if we went swimming, and we're like, we never drowned, we're good. We'd build rafts and go down the canal, and when we'd hit the bridge, we'd jump up, run across the bridge, and get back on the raft and keep going down. And I'm a terrible swimmer. But now as an adult, I think that we were absolutely insane, and there's no way I would let my kid do that in a million years.
Builds character.
It's amazing all the things that the older generation talks about, the things they did with their families and whatnot, compared to what us younger generation are expected to do. It is totally crazy how different it is.
Yeah, you mean like seatbelts?
Yeah, seatbelts. Just the canal thing. You know how many people will get in trouble for that nowadays?
Well, London, so there was a canal in Idaho that I remember being absolutely terrified to go down, and we went out there in the SS Suburban a couple of times.
Yeah, it was the Shoshone one. When we go out there, was the Stoles quite often. And that's actually where Dane broke his elbow, is because it was a cement canal. And so he dove in and caught one of those eddies, and it pushed him all the way down to the bottom, and he smacked his elbow, and he broke like that little, just the edge of your elbow off. And if you have him hold his elbows up, you can see where he broke it. And what's pretty crazy is that I think it was 2 days. I think he did it on a Saturday. We went on a Saturday, and then we went to Les Miserables on a Sunday. and he was in so much pain the whole time. He's like, I didn't even enjoy it. I don't remember it, to be honest with you, is what he told me last time I talked to him.
Wow.
Which Texas Les Mis is an excellent play. Excellent.
Well, and that one was done extremely well. Extremely well.
Yeah.
Good production of it. So yeah,
I
it's
didn't
pretty
realize
crazy.
he got hurt, and I remember floating down that a few times. Bear probably too.
Yeah, I'm surprised that you would bring a kid like, what was I, 8 in Shoshone, 8 or 9, and just go float down the
Yeah.
canal and just like hang out in the back seat of the burb because there was no actual back seat. We were just sitting in the back because there was only
Yeah,
2
but-
rows, not 3.
Right. Well, but the other thing is that, you know, we've got, you guys were good swimmers. Like Mom always made sure that she got all of us into swim class pretty early. So we were all pretty strong swimmers. And so, I mean, like, if either or any of you really needed to be rescued, you know, between me and Dane and Mike Stoll and Greg Stoll
Power
and Power, we were all
and Mutt. That's who I remember going with. I don't remember going with you or Dane. Mutt
Really?
and Power. Mutt and Power.
well, and that may be the case. That may be when like Dane was on his mission and I was in Cedar City all the time. I mean, that certainly could be.
Twin Falls, you mean?
Oh, yeah, in Twin Falls when I was going to high
But
school.
I do remember going with you, Lonnie, because it was definitely the SS. Definitely the SS.
Yeah, and it wouldn't bear Power. Let's see, I'm thinking we only had the SS for a very, very short time while Para had his license. Dad
So
sold
many
it
memories.
early off. Yeah, I jumped that thing. Another dangerous thing I
The
shouldn't have
Burb?
done. Oh, yeah, totally jumped it.
Do you remember
No,
the
there
blue
was
burb?
the SS burb case.
No, I
Oh.
don't remember.
It was a blue one, not the
yeah.
black one.
And I remember it better than the black one.
That's funny.
Well, it's
What?
because the black one got sat to the side of the house for most of the time. Like, I remember going on trips in the blue one because Mom drove it up to Utah, Provo once. I remember with you.
Wait,
I remember,
are you kidding? Mom drove the SS to Provo?
Yeah, because that was when Dad put the 383 in the Suburban, and you guys blew it up the week that she was supposed. The week before she was supposed to go to Provo, and so she drove the SS there.
Oh, when we were still in Twin.
That's
That's hilarious. I didn't realize that. Oh, that was probably when I started driving myself to driver's ed. That's probably why I didn't go.
probably.
That's hilarious, though.
To be honest, I don't remember any of the burbs. So,
Do you know why it was called the SS case?
no.
So it was a 77. We call it the
So-
Super Suburban because
Why?
in 77, so there wasn't a whole lot of them ever built with a manual transmission. It had a manual transmission, a 350, and it was a 77. And in 77, Chevrolet found a way around all smog laws for a 77 truck. And then they redid the laws. So 78, they had to put the smog back on. So 77 had no smog on it, didn't have to. And so it was one of the highest horsepower trucks, you know, for a long time. And it was a 4-speed on the floor. The thing was just a kick in the pants.
Dude, that sounds awesome. Like a manual burb is just cool. Plus a highest horsepower rating of that era. That's killer.
Which was still only like 250 horsepower.
But think about that. 250 horsepower back in 77 was quite a bit of power.
Well, and you've also got to figure out that a 70, so in 77, like cars that had small block Chevys in them were maybe touching 130
Oh, yeah, because they were so...
because they were so
tuned down.
smogged. Right.
Yeah, exactly.
And so, I mean, that's why Dad wanted it, because it's when he was selling cars at Randy Hansen. So, yeah, that
I
was
Picked it up
pretty
for
cool.
That's
$1,000.
Golly.
You know what's funny to think about that Suburban? It was a 77, right? Dad probably bought it in 97. That's as old as my Super Duty is.
I think 96, actually. Probably 96.
But
be
when
honest
you
with you.
think about it, like I think of that as being ancient. But when you think about it, that's older and that's newer at that time period than your Super Duty is, Lonan.
That's crazy
Right.
to think
No, you're
about,
absolutely
Barry. I
right.
didn't even think about that. Jeez.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, and I thought about the same thing. So, like, you know, I thought I drove a 1987 Suburban to school, right? And this is in 96 and 97. I'm like, this thing is so old. It's such an old vehicle. Gosh, it's old.
I drove an
And now
87 to high school.
Right. And now I
Partially,
think
too.
about it, and that was only 10 years old. Like, it wasn't that old. Like, every one of my kids have gotten a far older vehicle, except for maybe Arroyo. Arroyo's was like 13 years old. But still, I mean, like, it's just kind of funny.
Oh, it is.
I think
Or-
I had the oldest car that I actually drove to school. Because you never actually drove your Studebaker to school, did you?
Oh, not my Studebaker. I drove the 56
Oh, okay.
Or
Then
55,
you had the
55.
oldest vehicle, but mine probably takes second. My '72 Mercedes,
72, and when were you going to school though?
2004 to 2008.
So I mean,
So
that's
2006 to 2008.
what's that? 36 years.
Yeah.
So no, yours was still older because no, yours was not. Mine was older because it was 55. So mine was 40 plus years old when I was driving it. So yep. Anyway, okay. So Case has got his. Griff, you want to do another one, and then we'll continue from there. I have a couple of good ones. So Case, maybe I don't know if you've done any whitewatering, but whitewater's lots of people think that's dangerous.
I've done that, but that was back when I was young, and I guess that was dangerous, but to me it wasn't. That is my biggest issue right now. Everything you guys are talking about, I'm like, that's not dangerous in my opinion. So I guess it all depends on people's perception of danger, is how they're going to view this entire thought thing.
So I have one that I again think is dangerous, but when Lana and I, we weren't even dating yet, I don't think. We were just friends. And we went down and took somebody to go on their mission at the airport when you could actually see them off. And I needed to be back to work in 2 hours?
Yeah.
So we got from the Salt Lake City airport back to Twin Falls, going 120 plus in Lonan's truck.
It was Dad's Chevy pickup.
And I got to work on time within 2 hours from Salt Lake to Twin.
Jeez.
Go Venetia.
Lonan was driving.
Go Lonan.
And I don't think we had slept in over 24 hours.
Nope.
Like, that's just pure stupidity now.
Yeah, it totally is. Like, but we used to do that with snowboarding too. Like, we'd get up and, all day long snowboard. Well, we'd stay up until 2 or 3 in the morning, then we'd get up at 6 a.m. and go snowboarding all day long, and we'd do the full day plus the night skiing, and then we'd head home at 10:30 o'clock. 10:30, get back to Twin at 1 a.m. And so we had lots of stuff like that.
And then we'd say we were going to bed. We never did. We all stayed up late in Doug's basement talking, and then I always had to go to work.
Yep. Okay, so sorry, Griff. Go ahead.
Your case.
Was it? I thought it was Griff.
Yeah, Griffey, you're up, then me.
Okay. Well, mine was a fast trip as well. That was going to be my next one. I made it. So my BMW, I had to get to a wedding, and of course we were running late as normal, and not like just a little late, like an hour and 20 minutes late to get to this wedding. And so I
early,
made it. So
right?
I made it from my house on Abbeville to the St. George Temple in 45 minutes.
Oh my gosh.
No joke.
Yeah,
Holy crap.
I averaged 120, but I was over 150 for most of it. My M3, which was
gosh.
probably scary all in that same fact, because that now that you look at the M3, like it.
That thing was a piece. I'm not trying to be mean, but it was put together with band-aids
duct
and hopes
tape
and dreams.
and silicone.
Yeah, but I had to get there. I got there.
Oh my gosh. I don't think I've ever gone over 100 miles an hour for more than 30 seconds, maybe?
Oh, definitely.
Bull. Case.
Call me.
When
Bikes.
we did...
Sorry, on the bikes. You're taking that right. Sorry, in a vehicle. In
Okay.
a car, I mean. In a
Okay.
car.
I was going to say, because on the bikes, we did it from just over Boulder City Dam all the way to Kingman.
Now I look back at that, I'm like, that was really dumb. Especially now that I have my CDL. Like, if I get pulled over for doing anything reckless, which is anything over 15 miles an hour, right?
It depends on your state.
I lose my license. So that's my issue. You only get 2 warnings.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, me and Lana, when we were doing... I got pulled over for doing 96 and a 70, and that was relatively slow when me and Lana were going back and forth to Reno.
Yeah, we made it to Reno once in 4 hours.
No,
No, it was 5.5.
it was 5, but
Still, that's
flip
moving.
side that around is that we took the long route, which was an hour longer than it's normally supposed to take.
Well, yeah, because we didn't want to go on the dirt road.
And we didn't want to go. And the first time I ever traveled Reno the normal way was 4 years ago. When I went to Reno with my mother-in-law, with my in-laws, because we went up for a meet for Aurora, and I was like, well, I've never taken the normal way back, and now I understand why we never took the normal way, by the way.
Wait, through Walker Lake and all that?
Yeah, Dad, the only times that we gone through there, Dad took us down the dirt road to Reno, or me and Lawton used to go through. There was another way that wasn't the dirt road because we broke an oil pan on my Mercedes, but it dropped dropped you into Fallon the same way that the dirt road did, and it wasn't an hour, it was probably like 30 minutes to the trip, but it was supposed to be slower, but I mean, it wasn't slower for us, because I mean, like,
There's
no joke,
nobody on that
there's
road.
nothing on there. Like, it was shocking to see anyone, and it happened to be the one time I got pulled over was a cop that we passed.
Like, you passed him?
Yeah, that was with my permit. It's the only time I've ever gotten pulled over for speeding.
That's awesome.
And we were moving. I mean, like, we were averaging a solid 100, between 100 and 120.
Those cars just did 100 so well. I remember doing 100 plus in my Mercedes all the time, and it just did it so
What,
well.
you're 220?
I was about to say the same
No.
thing.
No,
In
no,
the blue
my
one, right?
The
my
SDLs.
300 SDL with the 5-speed in it.
And
Okay.
they felt, that was actually what was funny
They
about
felt
them.
really good. at
They felt
100.
better at 100 than they felt. That was the only reason I knew I was going fast, is because the car had smoothed up at that point in time.
Yeah, they were pretty crazy. I mean, they smoothed out a lot. All right, so Case Isaiah, you got another one for us, or Baron?
So I've got another stupid one.
Hit me, Baron. You do it
Okay,
first, and I'll
do you want your
talk.
first stupid one? This is when I'm young. I think I was 12. We were living in Royal Legacy Lane. We had a swamp cooler just for keep the dogs cool in the summertime, and it was
Yeah, we're that
shooting into the
fancy.
garage.
We're that
What?
fancy. Yeah, we're that
Yeah.
fancy. We had a
Yeah, we were
swamp
that
cooler for
fancy.
just
It was
for
only
dogs.
for the actually at that time we were using AC to cool everything, except for the dogs. And so we had the swamp cooler. Well, the swamp cooler had flooded over, and I'm sitting there standing in a puddle of water with an electrical cord running through the water into a surge protector that's sitting in the water. Dad comes out screaming and yelling at me. He's like, "What are you doing? Are you electrocuted?" So that was a really stupid moment. But
did we
more
not
of mine
die?
are stupid than they were dangerous.
How did we not die? Like, Baron,
That is hilarious.
that is like just one of those stupid things that, you know what, 12-year-olds do. But man, we were put in those situations, I feel like, a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm so surprised that we're still able to function on most levels.
Well, and then I've got like my work experience ones where it's just like if OSHA saw or MSHA saw, oh man, it would have been the end of the
dude.
world.
Oh,
Would have
yeah.
been the end of the world for the kind of things I did.
I feel you on that one.
Like, I remember there was a machine that I was 14 feet in the air. No, sorry, I wasn't 14 feet. Legal limit's 13.8. So I was like 13 feet up in the air working on this machine. No rigging, no nothing. Standing on the side of the ledge, hanging off of a feeder, trying to weld something up, only supporting myself by my hand and one leg, while using my other hand, one leg to keep me balanced and the other leg to weld. Another hand to weld. And that one was like, I'm an idiot right now. What am I doing? Like, this is stupid dangerous.
Well,
but
Get that job
that's what
done.
you do.
Get the job done. That's exactly it. But it's also the same fact that you do need to think about that kind of crap, especially on a mine site.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, Case, what's yours?
I guess I don't really remember this, but my wife had a good point that we want to talk about the time I died. Is that dangerous, or is that something we need to save for another time?
The one where you drowned?
Yes.
That doesn't
Oh,
count.
you don't even remember.
Well, I know, but it's still dangerous.
No.
Yeah, of course it's dangerous, but it's not like you chose to do it.
Yeah,
Okay,
This
okay,
is,
we'll keep
this
for
it.
is
an
like
18-month-old.
chosen dangerous stuff. Barron's was just being dumb standing in an electrical cord, but it was still dangerous.
Fine. Okay, we'll talk about that. We'll keep the listeners anticipated on that one. Ooh.
I think the scariest car I ever drove really fast was Chris Prelude. I did 140 in that.
Oh, I did 140 in that thing all the time.
Oh, that car at 140 was kind of scary.
Oh, it was.
I was actually going to go with, you want to know the scariest thing I've ever done in my whole life?
What?
Should we wait on that?
Sure.
I honestly,
Okay.
I
can't.
honestly-
You ready?
Just do it.
You ready?
Do it.
Being in a car with Baron when I fall asleep ever.
You know what's really funny about that? This whole time I've been saying, you know what's a really scary experience, guys? Anytime I drive. I've been wanting to say that the whole time.
Oh my goodness
We love
gracious,
you.
that is hilarious.
We love you, but it is so daggum true.
Hey, Dad will sleep with me in the car, so I don't know what that means.
No, Dad sleeps with me in
Anymore,
the
Dad
car.
will sleep with anybody.
Anyone, but
This was
Baron-
back when I was 17. I just got my license.
well, it's because he must have been tired, or he just didn't care much about his life. Were you towing? That's the question.
No, we weren't. We were in an excursion. We had just dropped Tashi off in Denver. That was my
Ooh.
experience from hell in that excursion.
Yeah.
I hated that
Oh, okay.
vehicle.
So,
but when
no sleep. No
when you're
sleep.
so tired that you don't care, that's totally different.
Yeah, no
Yeah,
sleep.
That's what Dad was at. So sorry, Baron. You don't get to claim that Dad felt comfortable enough to sleep. No, he was
Ask
at the
him.
point of
Ask him.
exhaustion.
He will say for whatever reason he was
Exhaustion.
always comfortable sleeping with me. Ask him.
That's
Glamis.
disgusting.
That is
Glamis,
gross, Baron. Why would you say that?
BMW.
You're right. Whatever.
Like, I'm trying to think of all the times I woke up and Baron's just like, I just want to see how fast it'd go.
The Camaro, right? Didn't he do that down
it
to
was
Glamis too?
only the Camaro. I
and
only
the
drove your Beamer
BMW.
one time.
And the BMW, with the one time you drove it.
I was maybe cruising at 100.
No.
What?
Well
What?
over that.
What
Because
was-
Oh,
I
like
looked over
what?
and it was
Fastest
like
I have
20.
ever been was in your Prelude. The other time was Lana was driving. We did 155 in the Jag or Dad. I can't remember.
Yeah, I've done that in a Jag and I've done that in an M5.
M5. I did it.
M5, Jag, and Prelude. I'll be honest. As slow as I drive now, because I'm one that I really,
I'll
cruise.
just set it at 70 and just
And I'll just cruise. But when I was 17, 18 years old, it was whatever car I could be in was as fast as I could get it to go. Like, it
Yeah.
was pretty much trying to get to the limiter. Because I did that in a CTSV, too. Because Annika had someone that was at her church that had CTSV. And I brought that one to 140, I think.
Lawton, you've actually driven my car the fastest it's ever gone too. My Beamer.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, you said you did what in it? 120?
I believe so. I don't remember.
Yeah. I've never gone over 100 miles an hour for a long. I mean, I went over 100 once, but
Yeah, when I recently drove it.
Yeah, when you just drove when I got my
Yeah.
tune done.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where I'm trying to think of cars that I currently own that I've driven. Like, I think my Flex is the only thing that I've driven over 100 miles an hour. My Golf, I think I've gotten my Golf to like 115, but it's like so tacking out at 115 that I just didn't push it very long there.
So my scariest thing I've ever done, again, it's another one of those trips from Twin to
Besides
Shoshone.
Baron.
Yeah, of course. Is I was on my way back from Shoshone and it was snowy / icy, and I was coming up. You guys probably don't remember the road, but it kind of comes up and over a hill and then turns to the right a little bit, and then you head down the hill. And I was going way too fast I was going faster than I should have over the speed limit, but I was going way too fast compared to what the conditions were, right? And I ended up sliding across the lane. So not only that, but this one was kind of funny. It was like they had set it up for 4 lanes and a divided highway right there, but then never did it because there was like a center median area that was like lower, and then it came back up and you were onto another road. But it was dirt on that side. And I literally went across the 2 lanes, or so across my lane, across the left lane, into the little gully, up the other side of the gully, and then I was correcting. And when I was correcting, I was coming back down through the gully, up onto the other road, back into the main lane. And I was doing probably 70. I don't know how I didn't hit one of those metal posts that, mark the miles and stuff like that.
Divine intervention.
Yeah, absolutely. But I just slid all the way through, down into the thing, up, back, down, and back onto the road. And then I slowed it down. Yeah, because I was scared out of my mind.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
So I got to ask because, I guess have any of us jumped out of an airplane with the parachute on?
No. Well, I haven't.
Does anyone have a desire to do that?
Yes, I really want to go. Or you mean skydiving? Yes, I want to skydive.
Yeah, skydiving.
Yeah, totally.
Fair, do you?
No desire at all. Not even a little bit.
I don't I could probably get talked into it, but do I have a desire? Not particularly, no. I guess I've done so many things that don't require me jumping out of an airplane that, yeah.
What about a big bungee jump?
I couldn't do a bungee jump. I'd rather jump out of an airplane with a parachute than a bungee jump.
I'd have to agree with
100%.
Baron. 100% agree with Baron. What if that bungee snaps or breaks?
Dude,
reminds me
they
of
replace them so often.
Reminds me of
Right.
Bill Engvall.
Yes, I agree with that one.
That's all I can think of with bungee jumping. It's like that rope thing breaks and you're like, woo, smack.
That's it. And that's it. That's the end of you.
At least if I'm jumping out of an airplane and my chute doesn't open, I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to not survive this one.
I have chosen my fate.
That's what my wife says. She
right
says
with
the same
God.
thing. She doesn't want to deal with that. No, I would totally bungee jump. What you guys don't remember is when we did the one Jensen family reunion that you guys might halfway remember, and we had the flinger and we were flinging you guys. That thing, I would, in my next house I build, I'm totally building one of those.
Yes,
So I can fling kids.
I remember I remember I went into his shop and smashed my finger with a hammer, and that's what I remember of that whole thing.
Yeah, I don't remember that. What's funny is this guy never did stuff at his house, and something happened, and then we ended up having to do it at his house. And he just happened to have this in his backyard in Salt Lake somewhere. Yeah, it was super fun. But yeah, so I would totally. Kate, you wouldn't bungee jump either?
No, I wouldn't bungee jump. Nor, and I've had the opportunity to jump out of an airplane. I just turned it down.
Really? Gosh,
Yep.
I think it would be awesome.
I guess I'm not like a super adrenaline junkie. Like, but if it's got wheels and an engine, I'm an adrenaline junkie.
Huh, yeah, okay, I get it. So you
Do you
guys
like-
would do the racing thing then?
No, I would totally do the racing thing, like the dream racing that you guys did.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or even 24-hour lemons.
I would
Oh,
do
yeah.
that in a
It's so
heartbeat.
expensive.
I would
like
do
if
that
it,
one.
Oh, wait, the
too.
If it
lemons is
wasn't-
yes.
Yeah, if it wasn't like $2,500 just to get into it, and that doesn't include the car or any of the safety crap. Gosh, all day long, I'd do that one. That would be so
But
much
I mean, if
fun.
we all like just saved and pitched in, it would be a lot of fun. Like for 10 grand, so $2,500 a person over a year, that wouldn't be bad.
Is it 10 grand? Is that what it is?
No, I'm just saying if we throw 10 grand into it,
You can't.
You can't.
It has to be
Car.
like we'd have to. So like we'd have to get things donated.
well, you guys are the perfect people to get things donated.
Yeah,
It'd
if we
have to
wanted
be
to
a
race a
diesel.
Dodge truck,
Let's do it. Put it in a freaking. Let's just drop a motor into something.
Let's just find a clapped out 280Z and drop a Cummins in it.
What
Yeah,
are we, let's
not
do
gonna
this
work.
thing. Why?
Because you
Not
couldn't get
gonna
suspension to handle it. Would not work.
Do just we get some BC coilovers just to sponsor to us.
Yeah, no, keep going because
Now,
you're just
actually-
digging the hole.
What you could do for seriousness, you could put a TDI in one
Why don't
Why
we
not just race
drop
a TDI?
TDI, right? That's what I was about to say.
because it's not real wheel drive. It would not be near as fun.
Yeah, but I don't want to be fun. I want to be quick.
You would still be quick. You'd
You'd be a
still
lot
quick.
faster in that
You'd be
than
way
you would
faster
in
in
a front wheel
280Z.
drive.
Yeah. Okay, but anyway, so all right. Does anybody else have any other ones, or should I say one of my?
Go for
Well,
it.
my wife wanted to do one real quick. Hold on.
One time when we were moving, we had I don't even know what was loaded on the trailer. It was loaded wrong, and Lana and I, were stupid enough to have Baron and Case take the trailer. You guys
Forklift.
want to tell that story?
Here's a
Oh,
forklift.
that's a good one.
No,
Yeah.
we're gonna save that for car
I don't-
crash episode.
I don't know how you live.
Yeah, because that one's the second part of the car
that's
crash.
car
ones.
crashes. Yeah, no, we're going to
Car
talk about that one. That'll be
Uh,
car
but-
crashes.
Nisha, well, thanks for leaving everybody on suspense. But
There's
we're gonna
another
skip
one.
that one.
It
No.
was stupid.
It was stupid and dangerous, but that will be in car crashes part 2.
What
Well-
happened? I have to know.
Oh, I know.
I won't do the car
Cliffhanger.
crash one. So my next dangerous thing was I was in a car wreck. It was a date I didn't want to be on, so I left early.
With London?
No, it was a kid that I really didn't like, and
His
my
name shall not be spoken.
yes. When I left, there was a black cow in the middle of the road. So I swerved, then I swerved for a car, then I swerved from a telephone pole and ended up hitting what are they? The big ditches out in the boonies in the fields and knocking out like an 8-inch fence post. There was like 2 of them. Took out a chunk of fence, spun around the field, and ended up high centered in the field. And when I got out of the car, I had to like jump out. And I'm not a really tall person. I'm like 5'2.5". And the bottom foot plate of the car, I don't know what that is, was at my armpit.
The
That's how
undercarriage? Was
yeah,
that
that's
your
how high
parking
up my car was.
lot? Jeez.
And then I had to walk about a half a mile to a house, and the people were drunk. And they're like, dude, we thought you were dead, so we called the cops. And I was shaking so bad because I had to borrow their phone to call my dad. And he's like, are you okay? Is everything all right? I don't care about the car, but are you okay? And then the people offered me a beer to calm my nerves down. And I was 17.
That's
I'm like,
awesome.
no, you called the cops, you idiots. So when the cop got there, they kept asking if I was on drugs or anything because they didn't know how I survived the wreck.
That's
Nice.
awesome. Again, divine intervention is the name of the game tonight, for sure.
Which very much the truth. I also got to school Monday, so that was like Friday night, Saturday, and I couldn't remember my classes. I couldn't remember my locker combination, and then I was really upset because I couldn't remember why I didn't remember. and I had to go get a list for my classes, and it took me almost a week to remember anything, and I've had memory problems ever since.
Huh. I wonder if I have my memory issues because the whole thing with our car accident with Kyler. Ever since then, I've had issues memory wise.
Could be.
Huh? Maybe I need to go see a therapist, get some PTSD thing worked out or something.
It could just be literal brain damage. I mean, like for seriousness.
Well, thanks. Man. Call me mentally unstable. That's fine.
Yep, that's exactly what I'm saying. Okay, so I've got another one, and I mean, like, I don't think of this as being super dangerous, but like I said, a lot of people would. So if you've ever done any whitewater rafting, you'll definitely have heard about the Salmon River, and it's got some of the best rapids out there, if you will. And
obviously salmon.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Go on, sorry.
Yeah. So anyway, so the Salmon River, and so it has class 4 and class 5 rapids, I believe. And so we did a whole 7-day journey when I was in the Scouts on it. And I mean, I think there had been like 3 or 4 people that had died on it that year by the time the end of it was. I mean, so you really have to know what you're doing to go and do one of those things. But I mean, I haven't done it in 20-something years, but man, I'd love to go do it again. It was so much fun. We used to do it all the time because Gus was big into it. So he'd take us down to lots of doing the Snake River a lot. We did the Teton, we did the Salmon. We did quite a few of them. It was really a lot of fun. And to lots of people would be dangerous.
No, absolutely. So awesome. Guys, hit us up on our socials. Tell us if you've been through the same things or done the same things. What do you guys think is dangerous? Hit us at Instagram and Facebook. It's at King Ugly Crew, or send us an email. That's actually where we got this suggestion tonight, was from our email at kinguglycrew@gmail.com. Send us your suggestions. Send us a comment. Send us a nice little poke. I don't know. Send us a hey, or I don't know. Just talk to me. Talk to me!
Well, you know what's funny is that I haven't had a text from Nick and Marie in a little while, and literally in the middle of this, I got a text. And so I responded with that we were doing Nick's idea. And her first text back was, fun! Exclamation point, exclamation point. Don't forget towing the slug bug to Shoshone story.
That's awesome that they remembered it too. That's great.
Yeah. So, maybe it was somebody else towing me and Nick was in the car with me. I don't remember, to be honest with you. I just remember that the steering wheel came off. So it was pretty crazy. But yeah, we really enjoy everybody, listening to us. It looks like we're actually starting to pick up a couple users. Our base is down to like 31 now. Woo!
User.
Ooh.
31 listeners, users, whatever you want to call. And I mean, they're using our stuff, right? So they're users.
User.
But anyway.
It just makes me think of drugs when you say user.
Actually, all I can think of when he says it is Tron.
Oh, gotcha. I see. All right. Well, I think this is probably going to be our our shortest podcast that we've had yet. But we really do appreciate it. And
actually, hold up. Slow down. One last plug. I know it's shameless, but don't forget about the King Ugly Crew book club we are doing. We've already done book number 1, which was Ender's Game. You can go back and listen to that podcast. It was phenomenal. The next book that
super long.
It was great. Like, it was a really good conversation, though.
Yep.
But book number 2 we are going to be doing is The Devil in the White City by Eric Larson. You can pick it up on Google Play for $11 right now. I just found out, which I'll be doing shortly.
I have it on my Amazon account again. I told you guys I bought it already.
On your Audible?
Yeah.
Well, that book definitely we need to listen to so we can talk about it. So that will be coming up on closer to the end of the month. Actually, it'll be probably one of our first podcasts in May, I believe, will come out in. So, yeah, it's going to be fun, guys.
Yep, it'll be good. I'm like halfway through it. It's so far pretty decent.
Yep.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it when I first listened to it. So this is time number 2 for me. So, awesome.
All right. Well, on that note, stay ugly.
Yeah, ugly.
You're ugly.
Griffith, I love you, Griffey. That was great.